When the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile but you have to sigh. When care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but do not ever quit. Success is a failure turned inside out. Let's talk and clear the clouds of doubt.
Freedom of speech. Let us define freedom of speech. Clearly, this is an ambiguous expression that needs clarification and definition. Let us investigate, my dear brothers and sisters, where did this concept originate? This is a concept, an expression that we're all supposed to take for granted that we believe in without really knowing why, isn't it? It's a bit controversial. It's a loaded word like democracy and free choice. Let us learn about this expression, this concept really, free speech. Furthermore, is it applied justly and fairly within to all citizens within a society, to all its citizens, or is it biased in favor of other citizens? Is it limited? Should it have limitations? What do we mean when we say this concept, freedom of speech? Are we free to say whatever we want, whenever we want? Are we free to incite violence and hatred against others? Are we free to scream fire in a crowded theater, as we say in the United States, for example? This is my question for you guys today, so please give me a call at 002-0238 555 248 or 9. That's 002-0238 555 248 or 249. And please, the question for the call-in viewers is, the call-in guests, I should say, define freedom of speech. What does freedom of speech mean to you? Of course, this is all part of Huda TV's campaign, Mercy for Mankind, a positive response to the negativity leveled against Islam and Muslims with various American movies and French cartoons. So please, you guys, give me a call. I'm joined today by a very special guest all the way from Germany. He's an engineer and a Muslim public speaker. Of course, Samir Al-Khalafawi. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Samir. Thank you so much. It's been a while since you've been on Let's Talk. Yeah. I'm glad to have you back, inshallah. Thank you so much. Of course, we have our studio audience as well. Assalamu alaikum, you guys. You guys, I want you guys to tell me your name, and I want you to define free speech. What does this expression mean to you? And then I'm going to go to our guest and ask him what he thinks about it. I have the definition right here, which I looked up online several days ago, okay? So I want you, brother, tell me your name, and what does freedom of speech mean to you?
Well, my name is Sharif Ahmad from Cairo, and free of speech means to me that I should tell others what the things that right to do. But I shouldn't insult somebody. I shouldn't insult somebody for something I think it's wrong in his personality. So to incite him to do what's right, to advise him rightly, without insulting, in a very good and proper way.
Okay, so certainly though you believe, the truth hurts sometimes, brother, people might say that, but you believe it should have some limitations determining the person, the place, the time.
Yeah, it should take some limitation, because if I'm gonna, for instance, talk about some issue related to his personality, and I'm gonna insult him, it would have a bad impact on him.
Sure.
So it shouldn't taken widely and frankly. No, it should be applied in a very sensitive way, with a very intelligence.
Sure. Thank you, brother.
Yeah,
I agree with that. I couldn't agree more. That's a perfect defense. What about this brother right here? What does freedom of speech mean to you? When people say freedom of speech,
I'm Muhammad Yusuf. I'm from Cairo. Freedom of speech, as I define, is coming from the meaning of freedom. Freedom is that to do what you want to do, unless you don't hurt other people, hurt other beliefs, other identities, other personalities. That you can speak whatever you want. But you have a limit that it is your boundary is the beliefs and
sensitivities of others.
Sensitivity of your fellows.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, brother. I certainly appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam, brother. Welcome back.
I'm Nabil from Egypt. I think freedom of speech is like, when you're expressing yourself or expressing some idea, and you want to express it, but you have the freedom to express it, but without hurting the others, or without, making some bad ideas or bad examples, something like that, To be, like our brother said, you can say what you want or what you feel, but you must be cautious, because you must hurt hurt anybody else.
So definitely within certain limitations, however. Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, very good. If we could pass the mic back, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Islam, and I'm from Cairo. I believe that freedom of speech is a kind of the current rights which are which should be enveloped to the person. I believe that freedom of speech is a kind of the right that gives the person the right to say whatever he wants and what he believes, until he shouldn't harm the beliefs and the thoughts of the others, and the limits of the freedom of speech. The speech itself is limited.
Okay.
Should have some limits.
Certain boundaries, we could say. Okay,
Yes,
thank you. Thank you so
thank
much. Go ahead, brother. Thank you so much.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
My name is Omar. I'm from Cairo. Freedom of speech is to say what you want to say in a respectful manner.
Okay. That's simple put. I like that. But be respectful. Say what you want, but be respectful. Very good. I like that. Very good. If we could pass the mic to this brother as well.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
My name is Hussein Eddin Alam. I'm a student at the Faculty of Sharia and Law English, and I'm currently the Secretary General of Islam Ambassadors Association at Al-Azhar University. First of all, before embarking on a definition for freedom of speech, I have to first state that freedom of speech and freedom of expression in Islam is limitless. And in view of this fact, we can define freedom of speech as saying and doing whatever you want in a respectful manner and in a not hurting manner.
Okay.
And we can.
But now I want you to define freedom of speech because you said it's limitless in Islam. So define, what do you mean by that, freedom of speech?
You can say whatever you want or do whatever you want in a sensible manner, and in a sensible in sense,
right,
in a way that makes sense, and also in a way that does not hurt the feelings of others, and in a way that do not insult the symbols of others. Because we are mature enough in Islam to make a distinction between what is freedom of speech and what is hateful speech.
Thank you, brother. That's an excellent point. Yeah, I like that. Freedom of speech and hate speech. Now, Brother Samir, thank you for waiting, and I want to really get their thoughts and feedback because the young people in universities and on social media, so we want to know what the youth are saying about this issue. Brother Samir, what do you think? What does freedom of speech mean to us? I know you're from Germany, and you also stay here in the Middle East sometimes, so contrast that a little bit.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. First of all, I would like to start by certain, guidelines. Allah said in the Quran, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. I have only created the jinn and the human beings to worship me. At the same time, he said, قُلْ إِنَّ صَلَاتِي وَنُسُكِي وَمَحْيَايَ وَمَمَاتِي لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ وَبِذَلِكَ أُمِرْتُ وَأَنَا أَوَّلُ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. Say, my worship and my prayer is only for Allah, and I've been commanded to do so. So why are we here in this world, and why is the creation there? To worship Allah. So everything and every action has to be in this frame of pleasing Allah and worshipping Allah.
But so I agree with you, but the people that we're talking about here in the Western world, they're not Muslims.
Yet, I will start by basic ideas and the freedom of expression in Islam,
okay,
and then towards, to understand the freedom of expression of other people.
Okay.
So, the freedom of expression has been given even since the beginning of creation. We see in the Quran something like, although Allah created the angels as, like creatures who are always just doing
without choice.
Without choice.
Right.
But still He gave them even the freedom of expression.
Right.
When He created Adam and the angels came and spoke to themselves and spoke, do you create someone who is doing evil and spreading like bloodshed and so on earth? Allah was not angry with them. If you see in the Quran, He made a dialogue with them and start speaking with them. So even the angels who don't have a choice, but they have even the free, Allah showed us that freedom of expression.
They have free choice. Actually, they don't have free choice, but they have freedom of expression. But of course, with limitations.
With limitation.
Go ahead.
With all, like the brother said, one of them is the respect, and still in the frame, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ, the worship of Allah.
Okay.
So, if we see the angels had this freedom of expression, even the Satan, the devil, he had a freedom of expression, but he you know, like overcame the limits.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, there was a limit of that. It is still justified because they were asking out of curiosity, out of, you know, like they were afraid about the surroundings. But Satan came, the shaitan came and said, you created this human being and I am better. So he had this, you know, the not proper attitude.
Right.
And it was even translated to the improper action of, you know, like disobedience
Sure.
of Allah. So this is a start to think about freedom of expression.
Okay.
In Islam, if we speak about freedom of expression in opposition to other religion, freedom of the expression in Islam is an obligation, not only a right. It is the right of expression in all societies, but in Islam there is an obligation that if we see something wrong, we have
to speak about
to speak up against
Sure,
it.
sure.
If we are asked to witness, to bear witness, to make a shahada, we are also obliged. Allah says in the Quran, وَلَا تَكْتُمُوا الشَّهَادَةَ. Don't ever, don't speak up if you have to witness.
Right, okay.
So we are obliged to do witness, to speak and express ourselves. Where are the limits now?
That's the question.
Exactly. The limits to this expression, there are legal limitations and ethical limitations.
Excellent point.
Ethical and legal. Okay? Ethical limitations, like if you see someone who has certain wrongs, you know, like he has certain mistakes, if you speak about it, or you know, like backbite him, or speak, or you know, like mock him in public, or so on, this is unethical.
Okay.
Okay. You didn't say anything wrong. You're saying like I know that you don't have any money, or I don't, or this or that.
This is ethical.
This is ethical.
Legal?
Legal.
Slander, libel, defamation, inciting violence. This is legal.
Exactly.
Right?
Illegal. And if you say about a Muslim, you are a kafir, or this or that, or, you know, there are certain legal issues that you can't, you know, and even you are, according to the Quran, you are not even allowed to curse. You know, Allah says that you shouldn't curse the idols that are worshipped, because they might
curse
you know, like curse Allah and the Prophet in return.
So Samir, I'm sorry to interrupt you. That's an excellent point. So I looked here, the definition according to Western standards, freedom of speech is the right to express any opinion at any given time without censorship or restraint. So this is against what we say. And you're telling me freedom of expression is an Islamic concept with respect and limitations. But what I see here is the right to express any opinion at any given time without censorship or restraint doesn't sound like something positive. It sounds like something that gets out of control without respect, doesn't it?
Yes, exactly. We can't, you know, like have indefinite freedom. You know, there has to be always a limit, because if we can make indefinite freedom, it will cause confusion in the society and hurt some people. Like the brother said, we have to limit it by that we don't hurt anybody. We have to have this respect, and still again within the boundaries of our belief. And actually, you know, there are even certain standards that in some Western countries, one of the things like backbiting.
Right.
We are speaking now about backbiting in Islam as an ethical problem. But you know, if you look at the laws, for example, in Germany, I looked once about the laws in Germany about backbiting. You find you can be, you know, like
prosecuted for that. It's called libel.
Yeah, libel, and you can get up to 1 or 2 years of jail.
Yes,
2 years of jail
exactly
for backbiting.
Yes.
Just because although you are speaking about something that is true, and you are making him, mocking him, or something like this, backbiting him, you can get up to 2 years of jail.
And brother, I hate to interrupt you here, but also slander. If I say something about, say, one of the brothers here in the studio audience, that's a lie.
Yes.
You can get prosecuted for that, as well as obscenities, defamation, copyright laws. What about incitement to violence? If I say produce a film or draw a cartoon that I know is going to incite violence, I mean, shouldn't this be criminalized?
Exactly. actually, you know, like all human beings and all human law are here for, you know, this for having peace between each other. And if something, you know, is against this peace, against the human dignity, it is, you know, forbidden by all laws. I think that the Charter of the United Nations starts by the human dignity.
Right.
The human dignity is untouchable. The human dignity is untouchable. This is from the Charter of the United Nations.
So I want to talk about that a little bit in a second with you, the Charter. I have some interesting information about that. I want to go to the studio audience, you guys. Do you have any comments regarding freedom of speech in relationship to the recent slanderous movie leveled against Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, as well as French cartoons that we recently came out, I think, yesterday or today? Go ahead, brother, in the back with the microphone.
Yes, please. Regarding the recent movie, the recent sacrilegious and the recent provocative movie, I categorically refuse to be enlisted under the umbrella of freedom of speech, because, as I said in the beginning, we have to make a distinction between what is really freedom of speech and hate speech. So this is the number one. And the number two, the fact that you have also to bear in mind the sensitivities that such a movie or such a work would lead to and would inflame. So
Right.
why would you do such a thing if it's really just about freedom of speech? Why
Right.
don't you care about others?
Of course, brother, I want to ask you this question, considering that. Do you feel like it's always Islam that's being insulted and attacked under the banner of freedom of speech? Certainly, we don't hear other religious figures like Buddha, for example, being insulted. We don't hear about other religions like Hinduism being insulted like this. Do you think Islam is always under attack from the Western world, or certain subcultures within the Western world under the banner of freedom of speech, and why?
Well, obviously, when you with a thorough look at the events in the last 10 years, for example, you will see that the number one religious symbols that are usually and over insulted are the Muslims. So obviously there is an agenda behind this, which is obviously to instigate Muslims, and because some certain people, as we all know, will react in a violent way. And I believe they want to exploit this and to focus. And unfortunately, when you look at the international media, you will find that they only focus on what some extremist Muslims do, and they show the whole world that this is what Muslims do.
We have to educate
but this is not the case.
Yeah.
For example, Al-Azhar has a very positive position and now is leading a campaign, and also a respectable channel like Huda. This is how we react, because this is what in Islam taught us to react, and this is what Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught us to react. And as Muslims, we do not also accept it, and this doesn't mean that we accept for other religions or other ways of life or other philosophies for their symbols to be insulted. We do not accept this for Jesus, peace be upon him. And we do not accept this for Prophet Moses, for example, for peace be upon him. Or even if we do not believe in what Buddhists and what Buddhists and Hindus believe, but we do not accept this for them, even if we don't agree with them and their beliefs. But we are not to insult their
we have to have a fair
symbols.
standard, in other words. Thank you. But we actually have a special guest, a phone call live right now, Dr. Sameh live from Cairo. Assalamu alaikum, Doctor. Thank you for joining us on our program, Let's Talk.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam, Doctor. Thank you so much for being with us. I certainly appreciate your valued time. Doctor, in this episode, we would like to speak about freedom of speech, and should it have limitations. And we're speaking about this, of course, as part of our campaign here to address the recent slanderous movie leveled against Islam and Muslims and French cartoons as well. So please, Doctor, share your thoughts with the viewers.
Well, what I would like to emphasize about freedom of speech is that it's already in place, it's already protected by Islamic law, by Islamic Sharia, and it's as well protected by rights and liberties all over the world. But the problem is, we have to see that it is universality. I have to be able to accept people's freedom, and they have to be able to accept my freedom under the same rules and regulations that apply to both of us. I cannot be able to insult other people's belief systems in the same way. They can't attack or insult mine. There are laws against this. The libel, there are laws of scandalism, there are laws of incitement to commit crimes, there are laws of hate speech, there are obscene and offensive speech laws. Everywhere in the world there is freedom of speech, and there are already existing limitations. But we have to understand it. We have to accept them on both sides of the word. I have to be limited in my freedom to the same extent that the other parties are limited in their freedom. And this kind of limitation, which we impose upon ourselves before we impose upon others, is the essence of civil society. People are civilized because they give up certain freedoms so as not to offend others. I lose the freedom to steal. I lose the freedom to kill because I don't want to be stolen from and I don't want to be killed by other people. So the same thing applies to speech. I am going to be free to spread the word of wisdom and the word of Christ here. And other people should be free to spread the word of wisdom as they see it.
I certainly...
The only limitations that apply to them are the limitations that apply to me. So Muslims should refrain from using any obscenity, and I think they do. So as long as they do refrain from obscenity and refrain from offensiveness, other people should refrain as well to be civilized. Failure to do so, that's a mark of not being civilized. This is not the civil society that is written in the American Constitution. It's written in every constitution, every Bill of Rights in the world.
Dr. Sem, I couldn't agree with you more. Unfortunately, the line is a bit cut up. I can't quite hear you that clearly, but I think we all agree with your comments that this is part of freedom of speech with respectful limitations is part of is a foundational part of any civilized society. Dr. Sem, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with my special guest, Samir, my studio audience. You guys stay tuned to this program. This is part of Huda TV's Mercy for Man campaign, a positive response to negativity leveled against Islam and Muslims. We'll be right back.
Satanic Verses, 1988. Dutch Cartoons, 2005. Pope Benedict's Anti-Islam Statements, 2006. The Innocence of Muslims movie and the latest French cartoons, 2012. When will this stop? And the subsequent worldwide violence. Islam says no to such hate that hate produced.
Love is not a word, is not just a word, brothers and sisters. So why do you take the initiative and inflame the feelings of Muslims?
This violates all freedom of speech. This goes beyond any concept of Western values and freedom of speech for sure.
This is not free speech. This is called hate speech. How to reach to the other side and let them understand us as well and know what hurts us and what is not they're supposed not to get close to in their own language. The media here also plays a very important role.
It's totally illogical to defend our religion and our prophets in Arabic. We have to defend them in those people's language.
Since its inception in 2005, Huda TV has been undertaking the role of peacefully defending the Prophet, peace be upon him, in the best of manners.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Let's Talk. We're talking about freedom of speech. Is this truly a Western concept that originated here? I have here England's Bill of Rights in 1689 or during the French Revolution in 1789? Or is this an Islamic concept with us since the beginning of time? In order to explain that, I have my special guest with us from the first segment, Brother Samir. Brother Samir, Western values, we learn in history, this is a concept, freedom of speech. It's a sacred, divine concept, basically, to the point where it's almost sacred to them, that this originated in the American Revolution, the French Revolution, the English Bill of Rights. But you're telling me that this is an Islamic value as well that's always been with us. Can you elaborate a little bit on that thought?
Yes. As I started to explain, Allah gave us this freedom of choice as an obligation, not only as a right in Islam and in all religions actually, but it had to be in a certain frame. Like if you see Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, he was obliged to give the message to Pharaoh, but Allah told him and his brother فَقُولَ لَهُ قَوْلًا لَيِّنًا, and tell him a very soft way, speak with him in a soft way.
That's an excellent point.
Yeah.
I'll try to interrupt you. We have a phone call. I really want to hear what your point is. I'll get right back to you. Assalamu alaikum. We have a caller via Skype. Assalamu alaikum. Are you there? Can you hear me? Okay, stay on the line if you can. I believe the line cut off there. I'm sorry, Brother Samir. That was a beautiful story, beautiful analogy. You're talking to Musa and Harun, peace be upon them both. They went to the fair to deliver a message.
Exactly. So, and the same time, he gave us the same message to us when we are speaking to the people of the book. And he told us وَلَا تُجَادِلُوا أَهْلَ الْكِتَابِ إِلَّا بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. So we shouldn't argue with the people of the book, but with the best of words, the best way.
Excellent. That's what we mean by limitations.
Limitation. We have to express things in a very respectful and very nice way.
In a nice way.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, brother. We have a sister on the line. Assalamu alaikum, sister. Go right ahead. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Alaikum salam wa barakatuh. I'm calling from Cairo.
Oh, thank you so much for calling. I certainly appreciate it. Sister, what is your opinion of this issue, freedom of speech, in relationship to these cartoons and movies these days being leveled against Muslims?
Actually, I wouldn't agree much with your audience and your guest. We are all saying the same. Yes, like freedom of speech has limits, and at the same time, it's like what's surprising me. Like I see that it's like an infection. Once a country or a cartoon comes in one country, it comes to another one. I don't know why they are doing like this, but at the same time, as your guest said, ادفع بالتي هي أحسن, or push with the best what you have. And at the same time, like we wish if the media can play a bigger role in let people understand about Islam and how it's like really has the freedom of speech and at the same time respect others to the most.
Sister, would you agree though? I mean, you said you're surprised that a movie came out in America and then right after that some cartoons in France. Did it surprise you that the Prime Minister of France, instead of stopping one man from drawing cartoons, he's willing to close all his embassies in the Middle East just to protect this so-called freedom of speech? I mean, does that surprise you?
Yes, it was really surprising, but at the same time, it shows them that, or they feel and they know that, yes, their laws is saying, okay, it's freedom of speech, but on the other side, they know it's like they need to modify it sooner or later, because otherwise they wouldn't be scared like this and close their embassies.
Yeah, of course, most certainly. But I'm sure, did you agree with the protest at the embassy, sister?
I agree, but I agree to certain limits, like to protest, but without violence. Because perfect. Now the media, it has been ruled by a lot of, I can't say a certain type of people, but they are playing the rules to show others that not all the pictures. They just show others the certain part which they need to show. Like, for example, they didn't show the people, the people in the States, or the usual citizens. They didn't know that we were protesting about a certain kind of a film. They just show to the people in the media there in the States that people are protesting. And no, they are happy on the 9/11.
Of course.
Is true, But this is what they wanted to show others. This is how they are directing their people.
Yeah, of course. I certainly thank you so much, sister, for your phone call. I certainly appreciate your thoughts and your feedback. Thank you so much. I think that's a great point you said about the media. Back to your point, brother, about Musa and Harun, peace be upon them, when they went to Pharaoh to speak.
Exactly.
And the sister mentioned that comment as well.
Exactly. So, this, first of all, we have to give an example. And the verse says, ادفع بالتي هي أحسن فإذا الذي بينك وبينه عداوة كأنه ولي حميم وما يلقاها إلا الذين صبروا وما يلقاها إلا ذو حظ عظيم. This means that even if you are hurt and someone is, attacking you, we should make the better, try to be positive and try to be good, even if they are bad with us.
Right, that's hard to do.
Yeah,
that's
it's
wonderful.
very hard. And actually there are some verses in the Quran which are very nice. They need a lot of power and, stamina to be able to do it.
Self-control. Before you quote them, brother, I would like you to take a phone call from Sister Asma from the UAE. Assalamu alaikum, sister, via Skype as well. Assalamu alaikum, sister. Are you there via Skype from the UAE? I think we're having a problem with the Skype, sister. Stay on the line, give us a call back. I apologize for that, sister, but I apologize for the interruption. That was a beautiful point. This takes a lot of self-control. A lot of people took to the streets of the embassies, and they didn't exercise self-control, we can say the least. Let me go to the studio audience and ask you, and go ahead, brother, with the mic. Do you have any comments?
I would like to comment. First of all, the strong person is not the person who can wrestle others, but who can absorb anger and to have a very good reflection while he is handling and while he is doing his attitude and while he is showing his religion to others.
That's a great point. I heard Dr. Salah say that. He quoted hadith when the Prophet ﷺ, he said something about a wrestler, and he said, can I show you who's stronger than this strong wrestler? It's the man who can control his anger. Something like that, Dr. Salah.
Exactly.
Yeah, excellent point, brother.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not only that, it's about how to understand the culture of this person, why he have done this issue.
Right.
What's his intention?
Exactly.
Yeah, what's his intention? If he'd like to provoke me, should I be provoked?
Yes.
And
Brother, I'm sorry if I interrupt because we have a phone call, but exactly, should we control our own emotions or should we let other people control our emotions? That's a great topic. We have Sister Asma from the UAE back on the line. Assalamu alaikum, sister. Thank you for calling back. All right, there it is. You're on Skype. I can hear you clearly. Go ahead, sister. Please share your thoughts with us concerning freedom of speech. Alaikum salam, sister. Go right ahead. Please share your thoughts with us concerning this topic of freedom of speech.
Asma from United Arab Emirates.
Go ahead, sister.
What I want to ask you is a simple question. We as a Muslim follow Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
Go ahead.
But what we have to do when the things are going wrong for us?
Can you repeat that, sister?
How can we just look at the media and the people insulting our prophet, insulting our religion, and we just have to sit and listen?
Did you get that, sir? Oh, I'm sorry, sister. Oh, perfect. I got you. I got your question,
Thank
sister.
you.
Yeah, thank you for calling in. She's asking, what can she do in order to refute these negative misconceptions about Islam in the media? Before we get into that, Samir, I think you had some nice comments you want to quote about freedom of expression in Islam.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
Actually, I wanted to speak about the verses in the Quran that state, situations like that we are in. I don't know, people, are arguing, about how to react. Allah, in 2 verses, 2 times, He spoke about the exact same. The first verse was in Mecca, where He spoke to the Prophet ﷺ, and He told him, if you are sitting with some people that are mocking the verses of Allah and so on, and doing fun of it, so don't sit with them until they start speaking about something else, and even if you forget and stay sitting, if you remember, then stand up and leave them. So he told him until they are speaking about something else. Some people said this is because of da'wah purposes. He is the Prophet ﷺ and he has to be, control his anger, etc. Right. So and this was in Mecca, and he has to, bear it. Right. Exactly. But there is another verse. This is Surah An-Nisa. Ayah 140 in Surah An-Nisa, where Allah is speaking to the believers in general, and He says, it was revealed to you from before that if you are sitting with some people and the verses of Allah are
they're mocking them,
mocking and kufr with them, so don't sit with them until they speak about something else, otherwise you will be like them.
Subhanallah.
And then he spoke, and he was speaking about the kuffar. If we analyze, and this time is in Medina, because some people...
Right, I got your point. This way he has power now.
Yeah, we have the Muslims
have political authority now.
Yeah, there is an Islamic authority. Yeah. But still, Allah told them that He didn't tell them, beat them up, kill them if they are doing this mocking of the Prophet and Allah. If He didn't tell them, you have to be, aggressive with them at all. No, He told them, so, you have to, go away, move away until and they speak about something else, which means that you might be able to communicate again with them.
Right.
Not, and if you look at this tolerance and at this, you are giving still, accepting this criticism, although it's hurting for us, but Allah tells us, go away until they speak about something else.
Right.
So this shows that we have to be strong enough, and like the brother said, that the strong one is the one who is able to control his anger.
Perfect.
And not be, seduced by these provocations, to kill and to make, to be
violent.
violent.
Of course.
And then show the Muslims as people who are
ignorant,
and
uneducated. Brother, I couldn't agree with you more. I always say, are you going to let someone else control your emotions, or can you control your emotions yourself? I want to ask the studio. Actually, let me ask you, brothers, if anybody has a comment in there before I go for the next question here, inshallah. Go ahead, brother.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Is it the free speech? I think in my mind it's has some kind of limit. It works sometimes, it's off sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I was watching TV about 2-3 years ago, some famous American talk show. They were hosting two Jewish couple because they were offended at a restaurant when the waiter write a Jewish couple on the table on their ship.
In order to identify the table.
to identify their table.
Right.
So they were feeling offended. It was all the American society, embassy with them. It was like big issue like back then.
Right.
So
you're saying, why should they be offended if there's freedom of speech? He just used that word to identify who they were, which we say in America. We say, the white guy, the black guy. We do say that a lot.
Yeah.
And sometimes it offends people. So this is strange for you. It seems like a double standard, right?
Now it's off, now it's on.
I see your point. Thank you, Brother Nabil, for that comment. Brother Samir, Dr. Muhammad Salah actually pointed this out to me. He said in 2004, George Bush passed this law called Global Anti-Semitism Review Act of 2004 at the United Nations, which criminalizes any speech viewed as anti-Semitic. And also, recently in September, in my home state of California, the California State Assembly, and you guys may not know this, passed a law that said any anti-Israeli speech as well is can be criminalized by law. And this was in response to many protests against anti-Israel protests on college campuses throughout California. So we should give much credit to the MCA, the Muslim Student Association, that organized those protests in UCLA, UC Berkeley, and all around the state. Doesn't it seem unfair? If we're going to have this concept, freedom of speech, say within one society, Germany, perhaps where you're from, or America, where I'm from, shouldn't it be applied evenly to all its citizens?
Exactly. Unfortunately, we are seeing here a lot of double standards in nowadays societies and in those laws, that if someone would have been, insulting or mocking this or attacking the Jews, or even criticizing anything about them, or speaking about the Holocaust, and maybe seeing about whether the Holocaust is true or not.
In Germany, I think you go to jail if you deny it.
Exactly. Denying the Holocaust, or even denying parts of the theory of the Holocaust, you are in big trouble. So this is double standards. This is a lot of double standards that they now are saying it's freedom of expression that you insult the Prophet ﷺ or insult the Muslim, and at the same time they are protecting the Jews, the Semitism, and even the theory of the Holocaust, etc. So they are protecting them, and it's a big issue, and you are getting to jail for this freedom of expression that this criticism. And so it's a double standard.
I like what you said about being positive, because I think we all agree it is a double standard, but I like how you said your response should be positive, and twofold, actually take the legal means to make the laws work in favor of Muslims. I want to share this with you, brother. Gary Garudi was a French scholar, fined $18,000 for his book, Foundational Myths of Modern Israel. Okay, Foundational Myths of Modern Israel. I saw on ABC News Australia online, a man was sentenced to 3 years in prison for anti-Semitic speech. So should we as Muslims, okay, fine, the Jewish lobby in America made these laws in their favor. So shouldn't we, instead of complaining, shouldn't Muslim lawyers like at CARE in these organizations work to make laws, take the legal means through certain countries and make laws work to our favor? I mean, that seems like a logical approach, doesn't it?
Yes, exactly. And at the same time, we as Muslims, the first step to do to be, be able to be active and positive about any such issue, to stick together. وتعاونوا على البر والتقوى واعتصموا بحبل الله جميعا ولا تفرقوا. We have to be one ummah, one strong ummah, especially if we are facing such issues that is insulting our faith, insulting us, etc. So this should be urging us and driving us to stick together, and to have certain proper representation in the world, and people who are able to speak up in proper faith and in proper diplomacy, to be able to state our point of views, and be in a very proper and good way, and in a nice way, so that to show the people that we are better than them. We shouldn't go and insult them and attack them.
Rip down the flags.
Yes, exactly. We have to be. We have to react, obviously, and to explain things, but in light of the Quran and Sunnah and exactly how the proper people were doing it.
Yeah, in a civilized way.
In a civilized way.
Thank you, brother, for your thoughts. We have a phone call. Our sister all the way from India. Assalamu alaikum, sister. Go ahead. Assalamu alaikum, sister. Welcome to Let's Talk. You're live. Go ahead. Can you hear me, sister, all the way from India? I'm sorry, I think. Sister Rafat from India. Okay, sister, stay on the line there if you are, or perhaps you can give us a call back and strengthen the line. Sister Rafat from India, I apologize, I can't hear you. I believe the line is bad. Give us a call back, inshallah. Let me go briefly to the studio audience. What do you guys think? Do you guys think freedom of speech is applied fairly around the world, in the United States, for example? What do you think, Brother Nabil?
I think no.
Well, how can we work to change this? What should we do?
I think like
Brother
Samir has said, we must stick together to make, improve the image, give the right image of Islam.
Right.
Give the people the right, let them know about Islam. And what is Islam? They don't know. Many people don't know about Islam.
Right.
Or they don't have the right knowledge about Islam.
Sure.
So we must approach them.
Make dawah for them,
Yeah, make dawah for them. And in the right manner to let them know. By sticking together and be a strong ummah, that will show the people, without even speaking, we will show the people that really, really we are a strong ummah. And
inshallah. Good point, brother. We have Sister Rafat back on the line from India. Assalamu alaikum, sister. Alaikum salam. I can hear you loud and clear. Go right ahead. Go right ahead, sister. I can hear you. You're live on Let's Talk. Go ahead, Sister Rafat from India.
I can't hear you.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Please go ahead. I think that Skype today is just not working in our favor, sister. I'm sorry, I apologize. Let's go back. I think the brother has a comment in the back here.
Yes, actually, I have a comment regarding your question. If really freedom of speech is applied fairly in the US and the Western world or not. The Prophet clearly mentioned there are certain issues that you can be in a big trouble if you are to speak about. So why this should not be the case with insulting Islamic figures, for example?
Right.
Aren't Muslims citizens there? We have many state.
There's many Muslims there.
Many Muslims or Americans, for example, like yourself, for example, and the brother here. So they also have the right for their religious symbols to be respected.
Right, sure.
So this is a point I believe that the administration have to take into consideration and have to respect this.
Sure. A great point, brother. Thank you. Brother Samir, do you think it's a bit of a weird double standard that oftentimes people in the West accuse Muslims as being fundamentalists and extremists, but on the other hand, we have the French Prime Minister who is willing to ruin his relationship with so many countries in the Middle East and close embassies just to protect his so-called value of freedom of speech? Why would they? Why? It's almost become we have the Quran and Sunnah as sacred. It almost seems like they have this democracy, secularism, and freedom of speech as something sacred also. It seems like this has replaced the church in Europe, in America. Do you agree with that statement, or how do you see that?
I see it like it is, certain, like the shaitan, the devil makes them hate, unfortunately, Islam and feel afraid of the Muslims because, alhamdulillah, Islam is spreading very strong across Europe, across the world. Although we are so weak, the Muslims are so weak nowadays, politically and economically, etc.
Right.
And still, and at the same time, many Muslims are giving bad examples of Islam, and so on, but still people are entering, and actually, as much as I heard, even in this period of this attack on Muslims in this last couple of weeks, I heard that so many people became aware of Islam, and many people entered Islam just in those weeks. So you see that they are trying to provoke the Muslims and show them as ignorant and so on, but their thinking or their this bad way
the plots,
these plots is running against them. Allah makes it going against them because the people are getting aware and asking why is the West accrediting and leaving those bad people insulting Islam and the Muslims?
That's excellent.
So, mashallah, people are entering Islam in groups.
And we had a woman call in viewers pulse on Tuesday night. We will talk about that later. I'm sorry to interrupt you. We have a call from Adam from Egypt. Assalamu alaikum, brother Adam.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Amen. Thanks for calling in. I certainly appreciate it, brother. Please tell me your thoughts, freedom of speech. Tell me your thoughts about these recent events, protests at the American Embassy in your city, Cairo, all this stuff going on, this movie, these cartoons. Give me your thoughts, brother.
Yeah, actually, I was going to actually reiterate and agree with the guest and say that, it's not really freedom of speech the problem, in my opinion. I think that it's the ignorance that is the problem, and I think this is actually not to be seen as maybe something bad, but as a great opportunity to share the truth of Islam and the positive of Islam. So that's why I wanted to call.
Brother, that's a wonderful point. I couldn't agree with you more. I think this is opportunity rather than something negative. Brother, what was your thoughts about the protests in front of the embassy there in Cairo?
I didn't really hear much about it. If there was any violence, then I don't agree. But if it was peaceful, it's okay.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, brother. Thanks for your call, man. I appreciate it. Keep calling into the programs, brother, man. We have viewers pulse. Let's talk. We have a lot of live shows. So thank you, brother. Thank you, brother, for your Adam. We have brother Adam for your call. We have another call from the UAE. Assalamu alaikum via Skype. Abdul Mateen, my friend Abdul Mateen from Dubai. This young brother is 15 years old. He's a Huda TV volunteer. I had a chance to meet him when we were at Dubai representing Huda TV at the Dubai Peace Convention 2012. Abdul Mateen, assalamu alaikum. Welcome, brother. Thanks for calling. Brother, go ahead. Can you hear me? Go ahead. This Skype voice not working today. Brother Abdul Mateen, can you hear me?
Hello?
There you are, brother. Alaikum salam, brother. How are you, man? Thanks for calling. Please, brother, share your thoughts with us concerning this freedom of speech issue, this movie, these cartoons, brother. Go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum, brother. How are you?
Alaikum salam. Go right ahead, brother. Go ahead, brother.
I was just saying that I think the freedom of speech to me, it means it needs at least 3 points. I mean, first of all, if you talk against someone, you at least allow the other person to respond and express his side of the story as well. And it should have as much publicity as you did if you attack somebody. And also, if you do want a response from the other side, you should at least ask the right people with the right knowledge and not the majority crowd who just react out of emotion.
Right.
Basically. And also, it should not be a blatant insult without any basis whatsoever of any... and they're just doing that because they want to provocate people or just to insult people, and just because they're doing that to hate them. I think these are at least some of the guidelines you should follow. Freedom of speech should be there.
I couldn't agree with you more, brother. Please tell the viewers what high school you go to in Dubai, and tell us if you guys have been talking about this issue in the classroom there.
Yeah, of course. I go to Al Ansar International School here in Dubai, and I think we have it's an international school, so we have people from all around the world, and each of them have their own backgrounds, how they react to this story, and they've been talking about how people have been reacting in their home country. For example, Afghanistan, people have been telling YouTube has been banned over there, and their families back home have been going out in protest against these videos. Basically, entire neighborhoods have gone out in protest against this movie and these cartoons that have recently come out.
Well, thank you, brother Abdul Mateen. I certainly appreciate it. Please give my salam to your father. I look forward to seeing you guys again when we're in Dubai, inshallah, representing Huda TV. Thank you so much for your call. Brother Samir, excellent points. I think this is an opportunity, isn't it, actually, and something positive will come out of this. As you mentioned, usually when people make an effort against Islam, they usually respond with more people accepting Islam. I know in Germany, you guys were giving free copies of the Quran on the streets, and you had a positive response. So do you think this will be an opportunity, a positive opportunity to share Islam
Yes, actually, I also attended some of those, like demonstrations in front of the embassy here in Egypt the last couple of days.
Oh, really? You didn't mention that. Okay, go ahead.
I went
Tell us about that.
And looked at it. First of all, one positive thing that, it gathered people from all directions, not only from practicing Muslims, some people, even the Christian Egyptians were attending and, holding flags, protesting against this, because they see it's not respectful, it's disgusting that what the people doing. And even the church made also
the Egyptian Coptic Church.
The Egyptian Coptic Church made a resolution, attacking this movie that has been done and saying this is not just and this is not the policy of the church, and it's not according to the Christian ideology there to to insult other religions and other prophets. This is not Christian at all. So it was, people united and, felt together in one boat. And to tell you the truth, what I am seeing that what happened in front of the American embassies all around the world, and maybe even what happened in Libya, obviously it's very sad to kill the ambassador in Libya. But we have to say in this point that the United States have policies in the last decades which is, making people hate.
I mean, they just got finished bombing Libya to smithereens.
Exactly.
How many people did they kill, right?
They are still sitting in Iraq, in Afghanistan. They are still, Guantanamo is still open until now. President Obama, 4 years ago, he told everyone he will be closing down Guantanamo.
Yes.
He was going out of Iraq. He will stop all those wars. Where are those promises? Where is those promising until now?
Yeah.
So until now, they are only making the people hate them more and more and bombing them with those, those
spy planes, unmanned aircraft, and they kill all these civilians, and they call it collateral damage. No big deal.
Exactly. So they are, giving hatred against United States. So I felt it's also like the spark that made this explosion against the United States.
But you know what, Brother Samir and everyone. With all due respect, that's an excellent point, and I agree with you. And if you notice, Germany has a better policy. When some anti-Islamic people that incite hatred try to enter into Germany, they don't let them.
Yeah.
They have a good policy, I think,
yes.
A better policy than the Americans do. But this is a difficult subject for sure to say. But this issue of free speech, brother, it's a complicated one, isn't it? They have a difficult foreign policy, and this just makes it worse. But with all due respect, my friend Jonathan pointed this out to me. The American government didn't sponsor this film.
Mm-hmm.
This was a U.S. citizen and actually an Egyptian Christian. So you think that's a good enough excuse?
No.
The Americans say, the American government says, Hillary Clinton says, why are you trading dictatorship for mob justice? We're not responsible for this film. It was just one of our citizens. What do you think of that?
Exactly. Like you said before, to protect Semitism and the Jews, they issued an extra law and was, made by the United Nations, hanged by the United Nations. So it's an international law. It's, everyone who is part of the United Nations should abide by this.
So you can't get any higher than that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is the highest way of, protection of, the dignity of those people.
Yes.
Which we share. We share as, Muslims, we see the Jews as a holy religion. We are only against the bad policies of the Zionists against the Muslims and against the Palestinians.
We don't insult
anyone.
Yeah.
But, there has to be fairness. The same way that they issued such a law against anyone, attacking the Semitism or insulting them, there should be fairness, and also the same way reacting to such insults and, bad media against the Muslims.
Inshallah, that's a beautiful end note. Thank you so much, Brother Samir. Thank you so much for being with me. We look forward to having you in the next program next time, inshallah. You guys in the studio audience, thank you so much for participating with me. I apologize if I didn't get to you guys enough. You guys at home, stay tuned to Huda TV's official Mercy for Mankind campaign, a positive response to negativity leveled against Islam and Muslims. 9:30 tonight, Cairo time, 10:30 Mecca time. We're having an all-new program, Mercy for Mankind, with Dr. Muhammad Salah, Brother Osama Ashami, Brother Rafi Abdul Malik, and more. So you don't want to miss it. Until then, we leave you in the care of Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're treading seems all uphill, when things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're treading seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the dips are high, and you want to smile but have to sigh, when care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but do not ever quit. Success is a failure turned inside out. Let's talk and clear the clouds of doubt. Success is a failure turned inside out. Let's talk and clear the clouds of doubt.